Hey, welcome back to the channel. So we did it, 2003 hit 900,000. So thought I'd do something a little bit different this time, and I'm going to list out for you all the stuff that I had to do to it to get it from 800 to 900,000. And then after that, I've got a short little walk around video of it inside and out. All right, so for the last 100,000 miles, here's what we did. 7 oil changes. I did a clutch slave cylinder at 800K. I put in O2 sensor simulators at 802. If you've watched my video on my new catalytic converters and the O2 sensor simulators, the O2 sensor simulators were junk. They're from a company called Magnum Tuning. Strongly recommend you never ever buy anything from them. One, the parts didn't work, and then also the guy that was supposed to try to help me resolve the issue was complete condescending butthole and blamed everything but the parts not working. So anyhow, trashed that, and later on we replaced the cats instead. So yeah, the O2 sensor simulators were at 802. I did a transmission fluid change at 809. Put on a new set of tires at 822. And then I replaced the cats at 823 because like I said, the simulators weren't working. All right, at 827,000, I replaced the clutch master cylinder, and this kind of started a saga for me with a few master cylinders, as you'll hear here in a couple minutes. So that was at 827, and then at 845,000, did new inner and outer tie rod ends and did an alignment. And then at also 845,000, I had to put on a new idler pulley from the belt tensioner. That was pretty interesting. I was about 70 miles away from home one night, and this was running my late night nursing home med route, and heard a pop, and then saw my battery light on, so I pulled over and saw that the serpentine belt had come off. Well, come to find out, the reason it came off is because my idler pulley had disintegrated and popped off the car. So the little pop I heard was the thing hitting the underside of the hood and then falling off. So that was interesting. So for what it's worth, the car made it another about 35 miles on battery power before it finally before it finally died. All right, let's see. So that was at 845. At 847,000, add some more refrigerant to the AC system. And then at 850 was the timing belt. So did the AZEN kit, new timing belt, water pump. It's the TKH002 set. So new timing belt, water pump. Also replaced the VTEC solenoid at that time, and then put on a new serpentine belt. Once again, that was at 850. Also at 850, like literally right after I got the timing belt done, was involved in an accident on the right front. Ended up having to replace the front bumper cover and front right fender and the right side door. So did that, and it also messed up one of my wheels, and popped a tire too, so I ended up having to replace one of those tires as well. I also wrapped the air intake in some heat reflective tape because I had everything apart because of the accident. So pretty happy with the heat reflective tape for what it was. About $30 for the tape, and could actually tell a little bit of a difference. I like that. All right, let's see. After that, I did a new power steering pump at 864,000, and then I told you I did a clutch master cylinder 827. Well, it only lasted till about 870, so then I replaced it again, and we're not done with that story yet. All right, so it was 870. And then at 878,000, did a new steering bellows. So that's on the steering rack. Looks like a little shock absorber boot. So put a new one of those on there. My clutch pedal completely let go. The metal got weak and actually like sheared off. So I had to get a whole new clutch pedal. Let's see. Also did spark plugs at that time. I had some spark plugs that had some miles on them, but I pulled them out when I thought my coil packs. Well, I replaced the coil packs and then replaced the spark plugs because I was getting misfires. Come to find out, it was just the coil packs that were junk. So I had put in the spark plugs at 878. Also did rear upper control arms at that time. Let's see. So also at 878, then I did an OEM clutch master cylinder. So that's the third one in the last like 50,000 miles. So got tired of messing with the aftermarket junk and just went OEM, and that experience really kind of changed me as far as what I'm going to do for parts for the car. So I'm going to lean more towards OEM parts for most stuff. And, the car's got a little over 900,000 on it now, and the OEM clutch master cylinder is still working fine, but, the other ones just were not good. One of them only lasted for about 8,000 miles. Let's see. So then started getting misfires again, and so replaced the used spark plugs with brand new set at 884. And then normally that would solve my misfire problem. Well, it did for a few days, and then it came back. So then I used some BG44K fuel system cleaner a couple times. That was around 888K. Well, then still had misfires. So then went to Walmart, got a fuel system cleaning done at 892. All right, still not done with that story yet. And then at 895,000, had I replaced the left rear hub with an OEM part. That was the original hub on the car, so hub, and it's also the wheel bearing. So that had lasted the entire time, and started not rolling quite right. So wasn't making a whole lot of noise or anything, but I could definitely tell with the tire in the air when I would spin it until it wasn't spinning quite smoothly. So replaced that with the OEM part, and then also both my horns had finally burned out at that point. So I put some Hella Supertone horns on the car. Once again, that was at 895. And so with the misfire issue, ended up sending the car to the shop. They did a leak down test on it, determined that the valves were worn. So this engine, even with 900,000 on it, has never had a valve adjustment done ever. And so I sent it to the shop thinking it probably just needed a valve adjustment. Told them that's what I wanted to do. Well, they did a leak down test on it, and it was leaking down more than they would have liked. So Jamie, my mechanic, said that I really need to get a valve job done. So with the miles on the car, not going to do that. He also actually recommended not doing the valve job because he said that sometimes on engines with higher mileage, once you do the valve job, you get that compression back, higher compression, and then you can end up causing other problems. So we're just going to live with it. So basically I've got a check engine light stuck on now because of random misfires, but it's just an idle, and it doesn't even idle rough all the time. It doesn't ever cut out like going down the road or anything. So it's just an idle. It has a little bit of hiccup, and it's just enough to trigger the misfire codes. So I also have a video about the Hella Supertone horns, and then when I got done with it, I tested them, and then I'm going to go ahead and hit them because my high tone horn wasn't actually working at the time. So here's what they actually sound like. So I didn't go back and edit that other video, but I just wanted to show how they actually sound with both of them working. So, all right, well, that's it for everything I had to do, for the last 100,000 miles. And we'll go to the walk around video here in a second. Currently, car probably needs another set of struts coming up fairly soon. The right front's making a little bit of noise, and it's getting a little bouncy. It's not too bad at this point, but it will need them fairly soon. I'm going to need at least a couple tires. The ones in the back have about 80,000 miles on them right now, and then because of the wreck, and then I also had one blowout on me after the wreck. So I've got two tires on the front have about 50,000 miles on them. The ones in the back have about 80,000 miles on them, so I have to get at least two of them coming up and stuff. Also need to do another transmission fluid change, so I was glad I went through all the things I've done in the last 100,000 miles because I realized that I haven't changed the transmission fluid in about 90,000 miles, so I'm going to do that soon. And then just oil change. So other than that, car's doing all right. Should make $1 million, hopefully with no other major problems. So, all right, here comes the walk around. Thanks a lot for watching. So here's the walk around of our nearly 20-year-old Honda Accord. It's got 900,000 miles on it. Still looking pretty good. Front's all beat up from rock chips and everything. Original engine. Still using Mobil 1 5W20 for now. I'm getting ready to switch to Castrol and see how I like that. I've been using McGuire's headlight protectant on these new headlights. It's keeping them looking pretty good. So the accident that I got into, ended up having to replace the fender here and the door. You know, I gotta get some clear coat on the door. Just haven't had a chance to do that yet. Engine still sounds nice and quiet. So the engine light I have here on the dash is multiple misfires, and when the car was a little bit younger, that used to mean it wanted to get some spark plugs changed out, and I put new spark plugs in it, and that didn't solve it this time. So I did that, used some BG44K fuel system cleaner a couple times. That didn't fix it, and ultimately found out that it was the valves leaking down. We did a leak test on them, and they're kind of wearing out, but you know, after 900,000 miles, you can expect some things to start going wrong. Might be able to hear the little hiccup back here, possibly. That sounded pretty normal. As far as we know, this is the highest mile J-Series Honda in the world. I haven't found anything that's got higher miles than this. So, you know, next goal will be 1,000,000 miles, and I'll hopefully do that at the Honda Heritage Center is what the plan is in Ohio. Something a little bit more entertaining than my driveway. But anyhow, thanks for watching the video and the walk around, and I'll see you next time.